Hey everyone, welcome back to the Guided Programming Coaching Call. I'm Coach Mike, and the first question up for this week is a question centering around injury, pre-injury, post-injury, comparisons, and how to manage training throughout all that. So it says, when I first started guided programming 12 weeks ago, I was coming off a herniated disc injury. It kept me away from any real training for 4 months. At a great 12 weeks, I got stronger every week, setting rep PRs. Then last night I did my openers and they felt terrible. The meet is in 6 days. Nothing in life or diet has changed, but I'm a little bit concerned, especially since every week I was getting stronger. Could this be because my programming didn't include any heavy singles and I'm just not used to the higher percentage? It could be. Yeah, I mean, we definitely know that there's a skill component to the heavier singles. Some people really need that, and then other people, it doesn't seem to bother them too much. In fact, I would say that most more intermediate people don't seem to find an issue with it. Now, if you're a more advanced lifter, if you have done training in the past that really takes advantage of lots of heavy singles, and you've really developed a lot of skill in that regard, then it could be, the absence of heavy singles is a thing that's throwing you off. So if that's the case, we can absolutely shift you into a different training group that includes more heavy singles, and that way that won't be an issue for you in the future. As far as what to do right now, and that's kind of what you get at in the next part of your question, I'm thinking about lowering my openers, but at the same time I want to do better at this meet than I did pre-injury. So I'm asking if I should compare what I did in my last meet pre-injury to what I'm going to do this meet, or should I just start from this meet as if it's my first and, forget all the numbers that I did pre-injury? Depending on how bad the opener session was, you may want to reduce your openers. So it's really common to have people hit their openers 6 days out, and they're a little bit sluggish. That's super common, actually, almost to the point where we expect it. Now, if they're like really sluggish, if they're looking like second attempts or third attempts, then that's not good. That's not where we want to be. And yeah, you should definitely adjust your openers in that case. But I'm talking about, like, we generally want to see your openers at about a 7.5 RPE. So if you do your openers and they're like an 8 RPE instead, that's expected. They're a little bit sluggish. If that happened in a competition, you wouldn't want that to happen, but it's not the end of the world anyway. As far as whether you should compare your numbers pre and post injury, I mean, whatever. Lift what you can lift. When you go to the meet, lift the most weight that you can lift that day. After the meet's over, then you can compare. If then you can see, like, well, I'm doing better than I was pre-injury, or this is a post-injury kind of comeback meet, or however you want to look at it at that point. But for the competition itself, you've got to do as good as you possibly can for that competition. If you lift the very most weight that you can, that you're capable of on that day, if all your third attempts are grinders and you look at them and you go, I made the absolute best total that I was capable of, then that's the thing that matters. That's your goal for competition day. Everything else is, a training problem, training coming into the meet, maybe a peaking problem, something along those lines. But your execution on that day is focused on building the biggest total that you can. And as far as just not having handled any of the singles or anything like that, you do mention in your email that your previous training was high frequency with a lot of heavy singles. We should be able to roll you into a different training group post-competition, and that's going to help a lot, especially if you're used to heavy singles. Having more of those in your training is going to be a good thing. Now, having said that, it's probably a good thing that we didn't start out that way, because you said you're just coming off of this disc injury when you started guided programming, and you had taken 4 months without any real training. So it's good in a case like that to not start out running a strategy that's including a lot of heavy singles. So hopefully at this point, all your injuries have healed enough to where you can tolerate that kind of training. That's what needs to happen. You need to be able to tolerate the training. Otherwise, it's not going to do you any good anyway. So anyway, kind of a long response to your email here, but hopefully we get some answers to all this. And I'll go ahead and roll you into that other training group now. Of course, if there's any issue with any of that, just let me know.